welcome everybody to another K5 Haulamania video, and today we've got Lamborghinis, some manky old Matchbox, some Hot Wheels, and some raving Real Toy, and a spot of the old Corgi. Well, not that old. Plus a bit more from Can-Am Customs, or as you all like to call him, Mark Ravon. A whole load of shifts at the moment, and I can't wait any longer. I got this in the post on Saturday. I ordered it on my birthday, which was last week, and we'll have a look inside. It's from Modelmatic. I think Mark Ravon's going to like this one, Cozy Takushi's going to like this one, and Monsieur Darkasti will like this one too, and I hope everybody else out there is going to like this one too. And Modelmatic have sent it in beautifully wrapped up. It's oh yeah, here we go. This is one of those models. I went to America, and this is one of the ones I was actually searching for while I was over there. Absolutely, of course, I wasn't ever going to find it, even though I did have a good look at a few shops. So what is it? What could the mystery car be? This is one reason why I decided to join eBay, was to get stuff like this. So comes with a little packing note. No sticker. I didn't get a little sticker. Yes, I did. Yahoo! I got my Modelmatic sticker. That's kind of why I ordered this one. And here it is. Oh yes, I love this model, and it's brilliant to have it in this mode. Well, despite all the beautiful boxing and all the rest of it, this one is definitely coming out to play. I have been waiting so long for this car. Oh yes. Now why they don't release these in the UK, I really don't know. It's a shame you can't use that packaging again for the little box. I'm sure it'll fit back in there again. There's a big old space to put that in. But hey, wow, and there she is with her real riders, the Lamborghini Miura, in beautiful blue, and isn't it gorgeous? Wow, fabulous stuff. Best of. Cool as. Thank you very much, Modelmatic. There we go. It's an awesome piece, of course. Rubber tyres, no metal base, got a plastic base, but it's all going on. And I was pleased to find that in my collection I had a couple extras. And the big thing about these cars is their number plates. Of course, this is the best of the world to go with the series. Fabulous stuff. Now this is my earliest release of the piece from the recent, well, this particular casting. And this one actually says on the back there, if you decipher it in the Matchbox fashion, is Il M9S5, so, which actually translates to all mine. Work it out. Basically the numbers and the letters and the numbers all go to make a word. There is an earlier piece than this one. There is a yellow one that came out, and that was the first release, and this was also like a recolouring of that very first release back in 2011. And of course this piece here, this was in a 5-pack. Reviewed it some time back, and on the back of this one it says 400, and I guess that's a shortened version of Lambo, the California number plate. Of course this one's got the Nevada number plate. All awesome stuff, and amazing that I actually had those in my collection. There of course there's the yellow one, and there's also a green one which came in a 10-pack, and I remember seeing it and I should have picked it up. Right, before I get into all this loose stuff over here, I'm going to show you some stuff that I picked up on card. Yeah, this is a collector's favourite for sure. I finally had to get it. I thought if I see it again, I'm going to pick it up. And I did see it again, and I picked it up. Obviously, because here it is on a short card, loose at last. It's got a few interesting things going on the roof there. Kind of adds to the detail, I suppose. But also you can see that same problem going on the front there. Now I wouldn't have normally picked this piece up with these particular faults on it. I do like to get my cars in good order normally, but this was the only one I could find. I did see it a long time back, well, beginning of, well, end of last month, end of December, and here it is. Fantastic stuff. Of course this is the RX-7. And this featured originally in blue with the Then and Now series with another RX-7. Very odd choice for a Then and Now, given this is the 95 and the other one was pretty much an 85. But still, very nice little casting. Volkswagen Kaffa Racer. I know Thomas will be pleased about that. We had a few interests. Of course, this is the Magnus Walker edition. Have a look around the box there. It's an interesting piece. Another collector's favourite in this particular colour. It's these were actually real racing cars back in the day. People used to do their bugs up to this kind of extreme, mainly to do with that engine. You can imagine these things bombing down the track at some point, racing, funnily enough. So it's kind of like a Le Mans versioned car of the reimagined version of a VW Beetle. Lovely tampos on this piece. See the old engine sticking out the back there. Well, that's probably only sticking out because somebody's actually cut the boot off. Look at that. Yes, it's a very interesting piece indeed. Very nice. It's racing around. Awesome. Yes indeedy, I picked up one of these. I know there's a variation on the wheels for this particular piece. There we go on the back, nothing really to look at. Let's get it out. This is the much waited for, and luckily for me, not too long. There seems to be an awful lot of Matchbox all of a sudden in our shops and no Hot Wheels. So it's like a reverse situation of last year's scenario where we had no Matchbox and a whole ton of Hot Wheels. Now this thing does look best from the top, which is unusual for a Matchbox, and unfortunately it doesn't have anything down the sides, but that's okay. I think we can live with this. Actually, out of the box, it's a really cool piece. I'm really enjoying looking at it even more now. Lots of nice little details there to make this rally version really rock. And I know that Mark's going to be showing us his retake on this particular model at some point, so looking forward to that. Go check out Mark now, shall we?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen in the main, I expect. Anyway, I thought I'd just do another little quickie, and this will be a little bit quicker than perhaps normal. That's because I had to do a whole load and I've broken them down into bits. And Chris, I'm sure, will fit those into his little slots, so to speak. Haha. Here we go then. So this one I want to show first, prompted by Chris's rather lovely Tamika model. This is the Hot Wheels model. And you'll say to me, no, it's not, Mark. It can't possibly be. Not with those wheels. Well, that's because these are replacement wheels, and that's why they're slipping and sliding all over the place. These I got from a chap called Tom Walton, who has a setup called Walton Style Wheels, and he's bringing these in from somewhere, I don't know where, but he brands them up as himself, and thank goodness he does, because they are incredible. These are rubber tyres and they are metal wheels, yes, metal cast wheels with a what looks like a brass etched insert for that wire bit. Wonderful. Now have a look at the end here. They've got domed ends. That's because there's a tiny little bit of metal that will slip in to the axle bit, which is like, the axle bit's like a hypodermic syringe needle. So they are incredible. And look what it's done to a Hot Wheels R30 Nissan Skyline. It's just made it look absolutely fantastic. That's all I've done on this, is just replace the wheels. If you get these wheels and you can do tyre replacements, then do, because they are out of this world. So enough plugging for Mr. Walton there. Moving on to another one that was prompted by Chris. There's a few here actually. The Tuk Tuk by Matchbox. Here we are in its standard form, although this is, they've got the printing on the back. See, some of these have got no printing on the back and some have. So there you go, that's production. And I thought, as I do, I can do something with this, so I went to town, painted the top light, which would have taxi on it, the headlamp, the indicators on the side. I filled in with black, thinned down black paint here, so the detail would come out, and on the side, because these would be literally rails normally. Take the top off, yes you can, and I did the handlebars and what would be the speedo in the middle there. I also painted in silver here where the running boards were. I stopped at that point because sometimes you just need to. It's not, do the major areas, but you don't have to be completely mad and obsessive. Trying to do this on camera is quite difficult. There we go. Really done something else to this model. That headlamp is done with a chrome pen. Not your standard chrome pen. No. It's a Molotov chrome pen. That sounds dangerous, but it's, or Molotov, however you want to pronounce it, but obviously I think it's Molotov, as in the Russian saying. You can get those online. They are out of this world. They produce a fantastic chrome finish. They're not cheap. I think £8 for that one, but it's worth the investment for someone like me who does customs and restoration. Here's another one that Chris prompted, a Haulamania by Matchbox. Now, I looked at this first of all, and I thought, ugh, it's blobby, it's generic, it's fantasy, it's, what is it? And then I thought, no, this deserves a little bit more appraisal, and also prompted by the fact that there's a territorial army, or whatever you want to call it, army reserve base near me in northwest London, and they have one of these sitting outside. Not this exact one, obviously, that would be daft, but an ex-Marines one. Small tracked vehicles that they use for operations, almost identical. I think there's a cab on the back of this one, or that one rather. But I thought, yes, this can be improved, and it can be, because the winch that Chris mentioned, you can paint that in. A jerry can, or whatever that is, that can be painted in. The grille, the indicators, the headlamps. Okay, you can paint the wheels in. I've done that. That then breaks up the moulding because it was a bit blobby. Painting the what is obviously a joint, a flexible joint between the cab and the trailer, the vents, the deck on the back. Okay, paint that because that's clear before. If you want to, you can paint in the chainsaw. You've got this, which is obviously a piece of tarpaulin over something. You've got vents on the back. You've got a ladder, because that's what that is there. Because this is quite a tall vehicle if it was real. So you'd need some kind of way to get up onto this top deck. Another jerry can, paint that in, and the vent. And suddenly you've got something which is very appealing, rather than effectively a real child's toy. Yes, it's still a toy, but you know, when you consider that this costs about £1.50 at the moment from Asda, you know, you can have some fun with it and make something very interesting. So that's that. Not prompted by Chris, but I found this not in this state, and it's a Majorette Range Rover from the late 70s, early 80s. It was a fire engine or a fire support vehicle, so it was knackered. These aren't the original wheels, these are Matchbox wheels. It's got new Matchbox wheels. I've resprayed it. I've put a ladder on the top, which is actually from a Matchbox fire vehicle. That's been glued on. I've retrieved some beacons from somewhere. Yes, they are a bit big, but hey ho, it's sort of a toy. And I made my own decals. Rather obscure, but Wimpy, of course, still around, but it's part of a larger group. It's Taylor Wimpy, but they were certainly a very big civil engineering company, as well as doing houses. They used to build lots of projects for governments around the world, and so I used what is their old logo. I retrieved that off Google, and he's the site engineer. And you can see in the back here, these are the seats that would have been for the original fire vehicle for putting a crew inside, but we'll think it's something else for this. So that's what you can do with an old knackered casting, and believe you me, it was. Oh look, piece of blue tack. That's keeping the two parts together because I haven't glued it yet. So interesting, and shows you what you can do, and it rolls. Look at that, wonderful. Anyway, that's the little custom section, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Majorette truck. Oh, bless it. This is a Cadbury's Caramel promotional piece as well, and it's actually in really good condition. It's got a few flea bites there, nothing too extreme. See, that's an old Majorette, not too old, but what does it say on the base there? No, made in France. So this is getting on for the late 80s, early 90s area. As you can see around there, it's a nice little tanker. Lovely details in the plastic. Of course, this piece would have come with a trailer as well. So I'm still looking for a Majorette trailer. I don't seem to have one anywhere. You know, another to make this into a double tanker. An interesting piece. This is an old International. There it is, Matchbox International, original 1977 casting. So this would. But this is actually reproduced. It's got some nice wheels on it. Got the old China style super fast on there. Not too bad shape. Of course, all the raised edges have been dashed as such. And of course, this one features an opening rear. There we go. And all you need there to attend to your medical requirements. Goodness me. Sure, you can get past somebody in there in a bed, probably, maybe, who knows. But quite a cool piece. I guess this is based on kind of a Chevy of some sort. I'm going to hide this one from the hippies though, because they probably want to move into that one. Wow, this is a variation on the Corvette C2, I believe. Look on the base, it's another Matchbox International. Got an 82 stamp on it, a 158 piece. So 158, nice scale. Everything seems to come in 158 in the sports car range for the old Matchbox. Interesting chrome interior. Of course, that gives us our chrome bumpers and all the rest of it. But you can't beat these old cars. Metal bases, metal bodies, a little bit of suspension still. Look at that, it's all going on. I do like this one. It's one of my favourite Matchboxes from the international period. Of course, it was originally made in Macau. Beautiful. It says on there, a 454 Rat. Whoa! It's a Matchbox Hero City. So this puts this around about 2000, 2002. It'll probably come in some kind of 5-pack. 55 Matchbox. Remember those big old orange 5-packs. And this one has also got a metal base. 1999 Mattel stamp on there, made in China. So the original design casting for this is almost a crossover from the old International into Mattel days, pre-Thailand. But a really tight little car, good casting. There we go. Doesn't really say, it just says it's a E-Class E430 wagon. Cool. I think Majorette made some nice wagons of this thing is awesome. The Cosmic Blues. Big shout out to Mr. James Shear, because this is the sort of thing that he loves. If you haven't subscribed to James Shear, you need to go and do so. There's a big YouTube thing going around at the moment. Everyone needs 1,000 subscribers to keep their channel running, which is pretty unfair actually, given the nature of this hobby and how we like to share our finds with people. But he's not far off that 1,000 subs, so if anyone out there from my channel would like to go and help him out, go and do so. Also there's Stu Mickey as well, he needs a few subs, and again he's a UK based collector, and he could do with some subs too. So if you're not subbed to those guys, go and do it, or else you're going to lose it. Well, here's something you don't find too often. It's a real beater, but it's a beauty. One of my favourite Matchbox castings from the 60s period, and the car that actually turned me on to liking Cougars. And of course a Cougar is a derivation of the Mustang. This is a super fast transition piece really, given it's got the skinny super fast wheels. There we go, Matchbox series number 62. It's got all this pat supplied for, super fast. So this is quite an early piece from around about 1970, 69, 70. And it's absolutely dashed to hell. I kind of like it. The patina is interesting, but this is definitely ripe for some kind of renovation. And I do actually have a reasonably good condition one, just to give you an idea of what it could look like, even though even my original one is a bit naffed. Of course this one's sporting the original 1968, 67, 68 wheels there. And also another nice feature of this one is it's got steering. I do like that. And both cars got a little bit of bounce. Awesome. Oh, let's have a check out on some Hot Wheels. And here it is. This is a lovely piece. This is the Pontiac Firebird, Thailand. So that means it's probably come from a 5-pack at some point. Doesn't look that old. And again, this is, you know, it's nothing too special here probably. So it could be renovated. Getting all these cars for renovation. What does it all mean? One of my favourite castings, and one of James Shear's favourite castings. This is the 55 Chevy panel van. And this one, unfortunately, is missing its motorbike. It would have had one in there at some point, because I believe this is the first edition of this car. I've got a minty one somewhere. So this one is really kind of up for, again, anyone wants to chop it up or repaint it or whatever they want to do to it. This is one of those pieces that could be reformed, and it's lovely. Metal base, metal body, it's all going on. Fantastic. Base. Yeah, a new Beetle cup. I mean, loosely based on the new Beetle. It's more of a concept version of the Beetle. Kind of goes with our Kaffa. Here, look. Here we go. Old and new. But this piece is rather remarkable because it still features the original body off. So if anyone's wondered what one of these looks like without its body on, nice and easy to sort out. Quite like that. All this whole piece here, all of it, except for the axles, are made of plastic. So that is a solid piece of plastic and a nice chunk of metal that goes on the top. Stick that all together again. There we go. Just clips together. Fantastic stuff. It's of course, it's a Mercedes-Benz A-Class. Unfortunately, the windscreen's a little bit tarnished. Easy to get out, actually. I believe you could probably polish that out with a bit of toothpaste and a nail file and all that good stuff. But this is quite a nice piece. Of course, these are old castings from Corgi, released around about 2002 to 2004. These were all originally cast up by Real Toy for Corgi, of course, so they could get the Corgi label back out there again. And I will show you an example, some examples of that in a minute. So there's the A-Class. It's a Porsche. Corgi Porsche 911 Carrera S in 1/58 scale. Again, lovely details in silver, of course. Lovely. Oh, there. It's got a few scrapes and things. These cars all found in my local shop in the junk box, as it were. And it's got hundreds of cars in that junk box, and I go rattling through there from time to time. But I found this piece in the charity shop, along with that old Cougar that you saw earlier. We go around the car. It's essentially the same casting. In fact, it is the same casting, and this piece is the Real Toy version. So there we go. No difference there whatsoever, other than, of course, the Real Toy one is a little less damaged, looking really nice too. This is another Real Toy. This is a Real Toy Jaguar. It's an S-type, I believe. It's got nothing on the base there, just tells you it's made by Real Toy. It's got some really nasty wheels though. This is quite, this is kind of mid-range Real Toy from around about, around about 2010, I would guess. Of course, we can't get Real Toys now. They were sold in Tesco's and they were sold in Sainsbury's for a little while. They've been replaced by another brand which I just do not like. I will show some cars from that brand if I find one that I do like, but it's such a shame because I really enjoyed the Real Toys castings. They were good economy models and they did quite a nice job at reproducing cars. And here's one of Real Toy's best, again from the same period as that Jag, you can tell by those wheels. But they've got more solid. They're much more solid than the Maestos and equivalent castings. And this is a Ford Crown Vic in civilian mode. Of course, these cars are used quite a lot as utility vehicles by police and taxis and all that good stuff. It's a good old four-door vehicle, big old saloon. Lovely details on this piece though, even compared to a Matchbox. Do we have a scale on there? No scale. So probably around about 164, I would guess.
I want to be able to see it, but you can't really see it.
Well, thanks to everybody who's made it to this portion of the show, because this is the end piece. I like to show Racing Champions mint at the end of my Haulamania videos at the moment, until I run out of mint pieces to find. And I picked this one up in particular because it has just been re-released by R2. And of course this is the original release from 1996. Wow, this is older than I thought. And yeah, let's check it out inside. As you can see, it comes with its special stand there. It tells you on there it's a Ford Fairlane. Now, I think this is actually a Victoria myself, and there it is. It says Ford Victoria on the side. Wow. Well, it wasn't too hard to extract it from all this blistering. So there's all the portions of the blister and the packaging if you're still interested. The first thing that comes out is this stand. So it's emblazoned with the Fairlane Ford motif on the front there, which is quite nice. Again, for your fridge magneteers, it's all actually, this one looks like it's made out of plastic. There's an air of quality control issue with this particular piece. I will demonstrate as we go. So, what do we have? We have a rather nice representation of this Ford Fairlane, or Crown Vic. I believe this is more of a Fairlaner though, because of this metal bar that goes over the top of the roof there. A fashion accessory that only really extended for a very short while. It places this piece firmly into the 1956 period. See there, emblazoned on the door, it says Victoria. So there's a little decal up front there for its Fairlane hood. If you notice, the paintwork on this is very inferior. I hope that the new models that come out from R2 don't suffer from a similar fate. This one looks like it's been dropped or something as well. It wasn't me. If you look around there, it's got a nasty little dink on its headlamp holder. But anyway, that's that aside. There's paint flaws all over this piece. I'm also hoping that the base doesn't crumble. Metal base there. Well, this is presumably before the crumbling took place, hopefully. Rear details. Comparable with an M2, this particular model. And I do actually have an M2 piece of a similar ilk to show you, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Just scoot around the model, because it's got lovely little bonnet features there. Nice engine detail in there. Good closing action. Good fitting parts. So overall, a very nice piece. Just flawed really terribly by the paint. As you can see there, we've got more marks there. There's a bit of paint missing on the roof. It's almost like they've overshot with white. White's been oversprayed onto this duck egg green base coat. Then the silver details have been added on top of the white. And I will let you into a secret. I have actually had to touch up some of the silver parts. And that piece there was not me. That was already on there. So yeah, it's a serious amount of quality issue here. And this green paint also is it's quite thickly applied, as you can see there. And on this side of the car, on the front fender there, it's quite noticeably drippy and horrible. But it's a good piece overall, and I'm really hoping that the new R2 release of this does not suffer from similar problems. So, Crown Victoria, Ford Fairlane, it's all going on. And if you remember rightly, Mattel released what they call a Crown Victoria. There it is, Ford Victoria, 1956. The big difference between a Crown Victoria or a Fairlane is that big side stripe there. Of course, the front end is different, but to the undiscerning, they're very similar. But this is actually the custom line. I still keep rambling on about that one, but It's a bit of a bugbear when they give me the wrong name. It's even got a different badge on the back. Look. Of course, the detail on this old mint Racing Champions is way better. And also, I pulled out an M2 just to compare some of the detailings. As you can see, this is a 1953, I believe. No, 54 Chevrolet Bel Air. So kind of would have been together on the roads, these two, I'm sure. And M2 giving us a lot more detail for your money. It's got a similar kind of extra parts on the hood. I can call it a hood because it's an American car. A bit more detail under the hood. Old Chevy block under there. And inside we have an opening doors, but we also have good trim on the seats. Some nice details actually inside the car. But we're not here to look at that one. We're just here to compare it side by side. For anybody out there collecting 1950s Americana, the old Racing Champions models do actually look pretty good side by side with their M2 equivalents. As you can see, not far off. Very nice. And here we go. And on that bombshell, so there we have it. A range of 1950s vehicles and a rather nice Ford Vic. This is K5 saying thanks for watching and tuning in as usual. And I'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now. Everyone's a little bit worried about me cracking all these pieces. I mean, it's got a broken box. It's got already, the wheels are starting to mold themselves into the base plate. So yeah, I'm doing it a favour by releasing it really, and plus I can take photographs of it. I just love doing that. These are beautiful pieces to take pictures of.